Yesterday was 9/11, and I don't think there is one American in this country that does not take that to heart, that does not believe that was wrong. Those people shouldn't have died. Everybody believes that. Everybody knows that. So I didn't. I had no intentions yesterday. I had intentions just to say, to just say, I'm sorry that happened. Shouldn't happen. Whatever. But the thing, this program isn't to go ahead and regurgitate what we know occurs every single year. There are other stations that are doing that, so I didn't. I got an email. Eric Hayes, I want to read what Eric Hayes says because it has to do with 9/11. It says, please remember on 9/11 and that 2,997 people killed and over 6,000 injured on that day 22 years ago. We honor their sacrifice for our country and pray peace and comfort for all their families infected. We hope and pray for the spirit and unity of our country that emerge in the aftermath of 9/11. That statement could not have upsetted me more. And I'll explain. These people, these people did not ask to be sacrificed. So when somebody says we honor their sacrifice, it is under the assumption like they put themselves in some position that they wanted to sacrifice. They did not. I am tired of hearing people tell military folks, thank you for your service, but won't give them health care, but won't give them what they need. I'm tired of innocent people dying and other people buying the glory, glory, hallelujah, and telling them, thank you for your sacrifice. These people did not ask to be sacrificial lambs for America's deeds at all. I'm going to read the letter real quickly for what the person sent. He said, this is what a listener to Politics Done Right, Sandy said. I wanted to relate to you my most sincere disappointment and the fact that your show host this morning did not mention anything at all about 9/11 terrorist attack and remember those that we lost. His excuse was he did not want to mention because it was 22 years ago and all the things that are being done as a result of 9/11. That is a flat out chicken SHIT reason. The only reason he even said anything is because callers called in to mention 9/11. The fact is he hates America and all it stands for. No matter what side you are, left or right, I think we all agree that it was a tragedy and lives were unnecessarily lost, and we remember and honor those respectfully. But what would I expect? Because I listen to Democracy Now! And the You Talk show, as well as they sure do remember and honor everything that happened to Muslims or tragedies abroad. I wish I could call in, but I am driving when this show is on air. Then I am at work the rest of the time and cannot call in. But it's so irritating to hear all the left bias on these shows. They claim to be non-biased, which I never claim. They always start or end with Republicans this or Republicans that. Everything is blamed on Donald Trump and Republicans. And that caller, Johnny, oh man, he comes on and spits out how contentious conservative callers are. Now, if he isn't the most hypocritical caller I've ever and every time he calls in to the show. I continue to listen to the program because it gives me insight into how the crazy left thinks. 9/11, remember the fallen, never forget. My answer to him was, first of all, any listener who spends the time to write an articulate letter to object without being completely irrational or hateful, this is my answer, is my kind of listener and must be answered. I intend to change your view that you are only listening because it gives me insight into how the crazy left thinks. Before I answer in detail, I must posit an absolute statement. You do not love America more than I do, or most of those of us on the left do. And in my case, I am a naturalized citizen. I chose America. It is silly to hate that which you have chosen for some, spouse notwithstanding. And as a naturalized American, I am no less American than born Americans whose roots, except for the indigenous people, are from elsewhere. Loving one's country means not keeping one's head in the sand for its flaws, but putting them out there and solving them. You don't show love for a child or a parent by allowing behavior that will ultimately be their demise. Now, let's talk. I will not apologize for not concentrating on that real bad thing that was 9/11. Many other stations and programs are doing that. It does not mean I condone or do not believe it was an evil act that killed thousands who did not deserve that fate. Unfortunately, in America, we have different levels of gradation for humanity. Do you feel as bad for those innocent people in New York, in DC, and Pennsylvania who died on 9/11 by terrorists as you do for several more thousand that are military killed in my home country, Panama, when Bush allowed several of our areas to be flattened with bombs indiscriminately? We consider that collateral damage to get one man, Manuel Antonio Noriega, who not for drug trafficking as advertised, but for saying no to the CIA. In other words, we killed all those Panamanians not because of Noriega for real, but because the CIA couldn't use Noriega for Nicaragua. Why did I bring up Panama in the answer? It is just an example of our modus operandi. The blowback from bad foreign policies by our politicians, driven by wants of our oligarchs, plutocrats, and psychopaths, create blowback that is the kindle of terrorism that kill thousands of innocent Americans. It all ties in. How do you think the relatives of the 10,000 Panamanians who died in Chorrillo, Colón, and David, Panama feel? How many of them would want vengeance, just like Bush wanted vengeance for 9/11 as he got hundreds of thousands more killed? You see, it's a cycle. I do not claim to be unbiased. I am very biased. I believe in the policies most Americans believe in. I wrote several articles about it, and I gave him the links to the several articles. As far as being respectful to the 9/11 victims, they will not have some false respect from me, some false respect from me. They will get real respect. That means making the changes that make another 9/11 less possible. Shallow statements like, thank you for your service, frivolities, and other types feel-good statements do nothing. My contribution using politics done right is not to provide the standard Powell memo indoctrination narrative, but to make us think outside of the box. When enough of us realize we are all on the same team and getting played by a select few who can only exist if we are at each other's throat, then the change that perverts not only terrorism, but that prevents not only terrorism from abroad, but our domestic terrorism caused by the policies of and psychological games by puppeteers. And as a bonus, we will live a more pleasant life. Thank you for reading. Thank you for listening to the show. And be sure, if you have some extras, to make sure and make us whole. He responded stating things. I mean, his response wasn't very good, I must answer, and I won't go into read it because we have a caller on the line. But as you can see, I will not apologize for doing the right thing. All those people that are, thank you for your service and all of that, are the people that are doing nothing for you. If you want not to have a 9/11 again, then we need to prevent the things that caused 9/11. And saying silly statements like they hate us for our freedom is silly. They don't hate us for our freedom. That's the lie that makes you feel better. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.